The sun was shining brightly over the city of New Haven. People walked along the streets, enjoying their day. Children laughed and played in the parks, and life felt good. But that peace was about to be shattered. In the sky, a dark shape suddenly appeared. At first, it looked like a cloud, but as it got closer, people realized it was something much more frightening. An enormous alien ship hovered over the city, blocking the sunlight. People stopped, staring up in shock and fear. Alex Turner was one of the many who looked up. He was an engineer, always curious about technology. He had dreamed of building machines that could help people, but now he only felt fear. He had heard stories about aliens, but he never believed they would come to Earth. He could feel his heart racing. As the ship descended, an alarm blared through the city. Sirens echoed, and people began to run in all directions. Alex stood frozen, watching the ship. He saw other smaller ships flying around it. They looked menacing and fast. What do they want? Alex wondered aloud. The city's loudspeakers crackled to life. The voice of the mayor came through, shaky and filled with panic. Citizens of New Haven, please stay calm. We are assessing the situation. Stay indoors. But Alex couldn't stay indoors. He felt a strong urge to do something. He knew he had to gather information. He hurried to his workshop, a small building filled with tools and gadgets. It was his safe place, and he needed to think clearly. As he entered the workshop, he turned on his computer. News reports flooded in, showing images of the alien ships hovering over cities worldwide. Panic spread everywhere. People were terrified, and many were calling for help. This is bad, Alex said to himself. He needed to know more about these aliens. He quickly started researching on the internet. The more he learned, the more worried he became. The aliens were powerful, and they had weapons that could destroy entire cities. Suddenly, his phone rang. It was his friend Mia, a scientist who worked at the local university. Alex, did you see the news? The aliens are attacking. Yes, I'm trying to find out more. What do you know? Alex replied, trying to keep calm. I heard that they are demanding our surrender. They want to take control of our resources, Maya said. Her voice was filled with fear. If we don't comply, they will attack. Alex felt anger rising in him. We can't just give up. We need to fight back. Mia hesitated. But how? They have advanced technology. We don't stand a chance. Alex thought for a moment. He knew that the odds were against them, but he also believed in the strength of humanity. We can figure something out. We just need to be smart about it. They decided to meet at Alex's workshop to brainstorm ideas. Mia arrived a short while later, her eyes wide with worry. What can we do, Alex? She asked, looking around the workshop. We need to gather a team, Alex said, pacing back and forth. There are many people who are willing to fight. We can't let fear control us. Mia nodded, her fear slowly turning into determination. You're right. We need engineers, soldiers, anyone who can help us. As they worked together, they heard a loud crash outside. They rushed to the window and saw a smaller alien ship firing beams of light at buildings. People were running in panic, and some were injured. This is getting worse, Maya said, her voice trembling. We have to act fast. Alex felt a surge of adrenaline. He knew they had to rally others. Let's go. We need to gather a team and fight back. We can't just sit here and watch our world fall apart. They quickly left the workshop and ran through the streets, calling out to people. We need help. We need to fight back. They reached the town square, where many people had gathered, frightened and confused. Listen up, Alex shouted, trying to gain everyone's attention. We can't give in to these aliens. We need to stand together. Some people looked unsure, but others began to nod. They could feel the anger rising among the crowd. A tall man stepped forward. What do you propose, Alex? He asked. We need to gather anyone with skills, engineers, military, scientists. Alex replied. "We can build defenses and fight back against the aliens." The crowd began to buzz with energy. More people joined them, and they started to form a plan. They talked about gathering supplies, weapons, and technology. They knew it wouldn't be easy, but they were ready to try. As the sun set, casting an orange glow over the city, Alex felt a sense of hope. They were angry, but that anger was becoming a fire, fueling their determination to fight for their home. They may have been scared, but they were furious, and they would not back down. Together, they would face the threat and show the aliens that humanity would not be so easily defeated. The sun rose over New Haven, but the city felt different. People were still scared, and the shadow of the alien ship loomed above them. Alex Turner was determined to turn that fear into strength. He and Mia had spent the night organizing their plan, and now it was time to gather a team. They set up a meeting in the town square, where they had first rallied people. Alex stood on a small platform, looking out at the crowd. His heart raced as he spoke. "Thank you all for coming. We need to come together and fight back against the aliens." The crowd was larger than Alex expected. Some people looked hopeful, while others still had fear in their eyes. A woman in the front shouted, "How can we help? We're just ordinary people." Alex took a deep breath. "Every skill counts. We need engineers, military veterans, doctors, and anyone who wants to protect their home. Together, we can make a difference." Mia stepped up beside him. "We have to believe in ourselves. These aliens may have advanced technology, but we have creativity and determination." The crowd began to murmur among themselves. Slowly, people started to raise their hands, eager to volunteer. A former soldier named Jake stepped forward. "I'm in. I know how to handle weapons and tactics." Another person, a high school science teacher named Emily, shouted, "I can help with technology. I have experience in robotics." More voices joined in, and soon, a diverse group began to form. They had engineers, teachers, mechanics, and even a few farmers who wanted to protect their land. Alex felt a rush of excitement and hope. They were all ready to fight for their home. "Great," Alex said, smiling at the growing team. "Let's meet tomorrow at my workshop. We'll come up with a solid plan." As the crowd dispersed, Alex and Mia exchanged excited glances. They had taken the first step toward fighting back, but there was still much to do. The next day, the workshop buzzed with energy. People gathered around tables filled with tools, blueprints, and makeshift weapons. Alex looked at the group. "All right, everyone. Let's start by sharing our skills." Jake stood up first. "I can lead our defense training. We need to know how to fight and how to use the weapons we can find." Emily added, "I can work on building some simple robots to help us in battle. They can distract the aliens or gather information." Everyone began discussing their ideas. The sound of chatter filled the room as they brainstormed ways to protect their city. The more they talked, the more excited they became. Each person had something valuable to offer. "What about communication?" Maya asked. "We need a way to coordinate during the battle." A young man named David, who worked in it, spoke up. "I can set up a secure communication network using my equipment. It will help us stay connected." Alex nodded. "Perfect. Let's make that a priority. If we can communicate, we can strategize better." As they worked, they also faced challenges. Some people were doubtful. A woman named Sarah raised her hand. "What if we fail? What if the aliens are too strong?" Alex looked at her and took a deep breath. "We can't think like that. If we don't try, we will never know what we can achieve. Together, we are stronger." The group fell silent for a moment, contemplating his words. Then, Jake broke the silence. "We need to focus on what we can do. Every small step matters." With renewed energy, they continued their preparations. They divided into teams, each focusing on a specific task. Some worked on training, while others focused on technology and communication. Days passed quickly, and the group grew closer. They became a team, united by a common goal. Each morning, they trained together, learning how to fight and defend themselves. They built makeshift weapons from old machinery, and Emily created small drones to gather information about the alien ships. One day, during training, Jake yelled, "All right, everyone, let's see what you've got." The group practiced hand-to-hand combat, and Alex felt a surge of confidence as he sparred with Jake. He had never felt this alive before, surrounded by people who shared his passion. But the threat remained. News reports showed the aliens growing more aggressive. They had attacked several cities, and many people were taken captive. The team knew they had to act soon. One night, while working late, Alex and Mia discussed their plans. "We need to make a move before it's too late," Maya said, her eyes filled with worry. "If we wait too long, the aliens will take control." Alex nodded. "I agree. We should send a small team to scout the alien ships. We need to learn more about their weaknesses." The next day, they gathered the volunteers. "We need a brave group to gather intel," Alex said. "Who is willing to go?" Several hands shot up, including Jake and Emily. "We'll go," they said in unison. Alex felt a mix of pride and fear. "Be careful out there. We need you to return with information." The team prepared for the mission, checking their equipment and making sure they had everything they needed. As they headed out, Alex felt a sense of determination. They were no longer just ordinary people. They were fighters, ready to defend their home. As they approached the alien ship, tension filled the air. The team moved quietly, hiding in the shadows. They were ready to show the aliens that furious humanity would not back down. The fight for their world was just beginning, and they were prepared to give it everything they had. The sun rose over New Haven, casting a golden light on the city. Alex, Mia, and the team gathered in the workshop, their faces filled with determination. They had a mission to plan, and everyone was eager to share their ideas. After returning from their scouting mission, Jake and Emily brought back valuable information. "The aliens have a weak point in their defense," Jake explained, pointing to a map they had drawn. "They rely on a central control ship that directs their smaller ships. If we can take it out, we can disrupt their whole operation." The room filled with murmurs of excitement and hope. Maya looked at the map. "That sounds promising, but we need to be smart about how we approach it." Alex nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. "We have to be organized. We can't rush in blindly. Here's what I propose. We form two teams. One team will create a distraction while the other targets the control ship." Emily raised her hand. "What kind of distraction?" "We can use the drones I built," she replied, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "They can fly around the alien ships and draw their fire, keeping the smaller ships busy." "That's a great idea," Mia added. "While they are distracted, the second team can sneak in and attack the control ship." "But who will be in the second team?" Sarah asked, her voice shaking slightly. Alex looked around the room. "I think it should be a small group. We need the best people for this. Jake, Emily, and I will go. We need to get close enough to disable their systems." Jake nodded. "I can handle the weapons. I'll make sure we're covered during the operation." As they planned, David, the IT guy, raised his hand. "I can help by hacking into their system once we get close. I studied their technology, and I think I can find a way to disable their shields." "Perfect," Alex exclaimed. "David can join the second team." The group discussed their roles in detail. They decided to gather supplies and weapons for the operation. It was vital to have everything prepared. "We need to work quickly," Maya reminded everyone. "The aliens are becoming more aggressive. We don't have much time." The team split up, some gathering supplies while others practiced their roles. Alex felt the energy in the workshop. They were ready to take a stand, to fight back against the threat that loomed over their city. The next day, the team met early in the morning. Alex looked at everyone gathered before him. Today is our day to fight for our home. We have a plan, and I believe in all of you. The group nodded, their expressions determined. They gathered their equipment and weapons, checking everything twice. As they prepared to leave, Alex felt a mix of excitement and fear. This was a big step, but he knew they had to take it. Remember, stay close and follow the plan, Alex instructed. We will meet back here after the operation, no matter what. The team split into two groups. Emily, David, and Alex made their way toward the alien control ship, while Mia, Jake, and others prepared the distraction with the drones. As they approached the alien ship, they moved quietly, sticking to the shadows. The enormous vessel loomed over them, its dark surface glinting in the sunlight. They could see the smaller ships buzzing around like angry bees. We need to stay low, Jake whispered. If they spot us, we'll be in trouble. David worked on his equipment, ready to hack into the alien systems once they got closer. I can't wait to see how they operate, he said, excitement shining in his eyes. They reached a spot close to the control ship, hiding behind debris. Alex's heart pounded in his chest. This is it. We're almost there. Meanwhile, Mia and her team launched the drones into the air. The small flying machines zipped around, creating a buzz of noise that caught the attention of the aliens. Alex watched as the smaller ships chased the drones, firing their weapons at them. It's working, he shouted, feeling a surge of hope. Let's go, Jake urged, and they dashed toward the control ship, taking advantage of the distraction. They reached the base of the control ship, and Alex looked up, seeing the entrance just above them. David, are you ready? Almost, David replied, tapping away at his device. I need a few more minutes to bypass their security. Suddenly, alarms blared, and red lights flashed. We've been spotted, Jake shouted. We need to hurry. David worked faster, his fingers flying over the keyboard. I'm in. Go. They rushed inside the control ship, and Alex was amazed by the strange technology. Alien screens flashed with images and symbols he couldn't understand. What now? Emily asked, looking around nervously. We need to find the main control panel, Alex said. David, can you disable their systems? David nodded, moving quickly to a large console. Give me a second. As he worked, alarms continued to blare, and the sound of footsteps echoed outside. We don't have much time, Emily urged. Got it, David shouted, and suddenly the lights flickered. I've disabled their shields. Now we can attack. Let's go, Alex yelled, and they rushed back outside, ready to face whatever awaited them. As they emerged from the control ship, they saw that the distraction was still holding. The drones buzzed around the alien ships, drawing fire and confusion. Alex took a deep breath. This is our chance. We need to strike hard and fast. With renewed energy, the team launched their attack. They fought bravely, knowing they were not just defending their city but fighting for their home. The furious humanity was ready, and they would not back down. The battle was chaotic as Alex and his team rushed into the fray. The sound of blaster fire filled the air, mixed with the whirring of the drones that distracted the alien ships. Alex felt adrenaline coursing through his veins. They were finally fighting back. Stay close, Alex shouted to his team. We need to cover each other. Jake took the lead, moving swiftly to a group of aliens firing at their drones. He took aim and shot at them with a makeshift weapon they had crafted from scavenged parts. Move in, he called, and the others followed, pushing forward. Emily worked alongside David, directing their small drones to confuse the aliens. These drones are working great, she said, smiling despite the chaos. They can't keep track of where to shoot. The team advanced, using the cover of the drones and the distraction they provided. They'd reached the base of one of the smaller alien ships, which was now firing wildly at the drones. We need to get inside, David said, glancing at the entrance. I can hack their systems from there. "Let's go," Alex replied, and they moved in a tight formation toward the ship. As they entered the alien ship, the atmosphere changed. Inside, the walls were lined with strange, glowing panels. Alex felt a mix of wonder and fear as they navigated through the alien technology. "Be careful," Emily warned, pointing at a group of aliens coming down a corridor. "They're here." Without hesitation, Jake aimed and fired at the aliens, striking one down. The rest scattered, but they would soon regroup. "We need to move quickly," Jake urged, and they continued deeper into the ship. David found a control panel and quickly began working on it. "I can disable their weapon systems, but I need a few minutes," he said, his fingers flying over the alien controls. "We'll cover you," Alex shouted, keeping an eye on the entrance. He could hear the sounds of the battle outside. The drones were still buzzing, but they wouldn't hold the aliens off for long. The tension in the air was thick as they waited. Suddenly, a group of aliens appeared, weapons drawn. "Here they come," Jake yelled, taking cover behind a wall. "Get ready," Alex instructed. They all prepared their weapons, aiming at the aliens. The aliens charged in, firing their weapons. Alex felt his heart race as he took aim. He fired, hitting one of the aliens squarely in the chest. "Keep firing," he shouted. Emily aimed her makeshift weapon, taking down another alien. "We can do this," she yelled, her voice filled with determination. As the battle raged, David continued to work on the control panel. "Almost there," he called out. "Just a little longer." "We don't have time," Jake said, firing at another alien. "We need to hold them off." Suddenly, an alien soldier got too close. Jake leaped forward, tackling the alien to the ground. They wrestled for control of the weapon, and in a swift motion, Jake managed to knock it out of the alien's hands. "Nice move," Alex shouted, impressed by Jake's quick thinking. "Thanks, but we need to keep focused," Jake replied, getting back to his feet. Just then, David shouted, "I did it. Their weapon systems are down." "Great, let's push forward," Alex yelled, feeling a surge of hope. They charged out of the ship, ready to take advantage of the moment. As they emerged, they found the battlefield had changed. The drones were still buzzing around, but now they were joined by other civilians from their team. The distraction had worked, and people were rallying to fight back against the aliens. "Look," Emily shouted, pointing to the gathering group. "They're joining us." The civilians were armed with makeshift weapons, shouting encouragement and rallying around Alex and his team. The sight filled Alex with pride. "Together, we can do this. Let's push toward the main alien ship," Jake yelled, leading the charge. The group advanced, dodging blaster fire as they fought their way forward. They worked together seamlessly, covering each other and providing support. The strength of their unity was palpable. As they drew closer to the main alien ship, Alex felt the gravity of their mission. "We need to disable the control ship and stop this invasion once and for all," he shouted. The main ship loomed above them, massive and intimidating. They could see alien soldiers scrambling to regroup, trying to form a defense. "This is it," Alex called, determination burning in his chest. "We fight for our home." They charged toward the main ship, blasting their way through the defenses. The aliens were caught off guard by the sudden surge of humanity fighting back. "Push through," Mia yelled from the back, encouraging those behind her. "Don't let them stop us." The team pressed on, weaving through enemy fire. They reached the entrance of the main ship, ready to breach the defenses. "This is it," Alex shouted, adrenaline pumping through his veins. "Let's finish what we started." With a deep breath, they charged into the ship, ready to face whatever lay ahead. The battle was far from over, but they were fueled by a fierce determination to protect their world. Together, they would show the aliens the true strength of furious humanity, and they would not back down until they had won their freedom. As Alex and his team rushed into the heart of the alien ship, they were met with a strange, glowing hallway that pulsed with energy. The walls hummed with an otherworldly sound, and the air felt electric. Alex could feel the tension in the air. They were deep inside enemy territory now. "Stay alert," he whispered to the team, glancing back to make sure everyone was close. "We don't know what we'll find in here." Jake led the way, his weapon raised and ready. "We need to find their control room. That's where we can really hit them." As they moved deeper into the ship, the corridor twisted and turned, leading them through a series of large chambers filled with alien machinery. Strange lights flickered and flashed, illuminating their path in eerie shades of green and blue. Suddenly, they heard voices ahead. Alex raised a hand to signal the group to stop. "I hear something," he said, straining to listen. The team crouched low, pressing against the wall. They could hear alien soldiers talking, their voices deep and unintelligible. "We need to find another way," Emily whispered, her eyes wide with fear. "Let's backtrack a little," Jake suggested. "We can look for another entrance." But just as they turned to leave, a loud alarm sounded. Red lights began to flash, bathing the corridor in an ominous glow. The aliens must have seen them. "We don't have time," Alex shouted. "We have to go forward." With no other option, they pushed forward, charging into the chamber where the voices had come from. The room was vast, filled with strange control panels and screens displaying data in a language they could not understand. In the center stood a group of alien soldiers, their weapons drawn and ready. "Get down," Jake yelled as they opened fire. Alex dropped to the ground, narrowly avoiding a blast. "Return fire," he shouted, raising his weapon. They fought hard, firing at the aliens with everything they had. The echoes of their weapons clashed against the walls, creating a cacophony of sound. Emily and David worked together, directing the drones to attack the aliens from above. "We need to find that control panel," David yelled, dodging an alien laser. Alex spotted a large console at the far end of the room. "There. That must be it." He pointed, his heart racing. "Cover me," he shouted as he dashed toward the control panel. Jake and Emily fired at the aliens, keeping their attention focused on them. As Alex reached the panel, he saw intricate buttons and screens flashing with alien symbols. "What do I do?" he thought, panic rising in his chest. "David, can you make sense of this?" he called out. David rushed over, his eyes scanning the controls. "I'll try, but I need a few seconds." The aliens regrouped, and a new wave of soldiers charged at them. "We have to hold them off," Jake yelled, firing into the oncoming group. Alex kept his eyes on David as he worked frantically at the console. Come on," he urged, sweat dripping down his forehead. Just then, an alien soldier got too close. Jake tackled the alien, wrestling for control. Alex could see the struggle, and his heart raced. "Jake, watch out," Alex shouted. But before he could react, another alien fired at Jake. Alex felt a surge of anger and fear. No. With adrenaline coursing through him, Alex turned back to the console. "David, we need to do this now." David nodded, his fingers moving quickly. "I'm almost there." In that moment, Alex felt a wave of determination wash over him. He had to protect his team and save their home. "We can't lose this fight," he shouted to himself as he gripped his weapon tighter. "I've got it," David shouted suddenly. "I'm disabling their main controls." The lights flickered wildly, and alarms blared. The control room was in chaos, but David kept working, his face set with concentration. Alex glanced at Jake, who was still struggling with the alien soldier. "Jake, I'll help you." He ran to his friend, firing at the soldier just as he managed to knock Jake to the ground. The alien staggered back, giving Jake a chance to get up. "Thanks, man," Jake said, regaining his footing. "Let's finish this." Together, they fought back, pushing the aliens toward the door. Alex felt a surge of hope as he saw Emily and David still working at the console. "We're almost there," David called, his voice filled with excitement. "Just a little more." The remaining alien soldiers continued to advance, but the tide was turning. With each blast from their weapons, the humans pushed back harder. "Now," David shouted, "I've disabled their control systems." As he spoke, the room shook and the lights dimmed. The alien soldiers froze. Confusion etched on their faces. "Let's go. Now's our chance," Alex yelled, urging his team forward. They charged toward the alien soldiers, taking advantage of the momentary chaos. The aliens, now disoriented and struggling to regain control, were no match for the furious humanity fighting back. "Push them out," Jake shouted as they closed in on the remaining aliens. With their combined strength, they pushed the last of the alien soldiers out of the control room. With the room finally clear, Alex took a moment to catch his breath. "We did it," he exclaimed, looking around at his team. They were exhausted but filled with a newfound sense of purpose. David smiled, panting heavily. "We actually did it." Emily hugged him. "You were amazing, David." But Alex's thoughts turned to the bigger picture. "We need to make sure this ship can't launch again." "I have an idea," Jake said, looking at the control panel. "If we overload the core, it will take the whole ship down." "Then let's do it," Alex said, his determination stronger than ever. "Let's end this invasion." They gathered around the control panel, ready to execute their plan. With their backs against the wall, they prepared to deliver a final blow to the alien threat looming over their world. Together, they would fight until the very end, proving that humanity's fury could overcome even the most powerful foes. The atmosphere in the control room was tense as Alex and his team gathered around the alien console. They could feel the weight of their mission pressing down on them. The fate of their city, perhaps even the world, rested in their hands. "Are we ready to do this?" Alex asked, looking at his friends. "I'm ready," David replied, determination in his eyes. "But we need to move fast." Jake stood by the console, watching the blinking lights. "What do we need to do first?" "We have to set the core to overload," David explained. "It should take a few minutes, so we need to defend this room while I work." Alex nodded. "Let's set up a perimeter. We can't let any more aliens inside." They quickly moved to block the entrance, using debris and anything they could find. The aliens would likely come back to regain control of the ship, and they needed to be ready. "I'll keep an eye on the corridor," Emily said, crouching near the door. "Let us know if you see anything." The group fell silent, and David got to work. His fingers flew over the console, pressing buttons and typing commands. The screens lit up with alien symbols, and Alex felt a mix of awe and anxiety. He couldn't understand the alien technology, but he trusted David to figure it out. "I'm starting the process," David announced. "It might make some noise." Just then, loud footsteps echoed down the corridor. "They're coming," Emily shouted, her eyes wide. "Get ready," Alex urged, gripping his weapon tightly. A group of alien soldiers appeared in the doorway, their weapons raised. "Fire!" Jake yelled as they opened fire on the intruders. The air filled with the sounds of blaster fire as the team fought to protect David. The aliens rushed forward, but Alex and Jake stood firm, firing back. "Keep them at bay," Alex shouted. "David, how much longer?" "Just a few more minutes," David replied, focused on the console. Jake fired again, taking down one of the aliens. "We need to push them back," he urged, moving closer to the entrance. "Let's flank them," Alex suggested. "We can catch them off guard." With a quick nod, they moved to the side, taking position behind the door. As the aliens entered the room, they opened fire wildly, but Alex and Jake were ready. "Now," Alex shouted, and they jumped out, firing at the surprised aliens. The element of surprise worked, and they quickly took down two of them. But there were more aliens behind them. They'd poured into the room, forcing the team to hold their ground. Alex felt the pressure mounting as he fought, adrenaline pumping through his veins. "We can't let them overwhelm us," he yelled, focusing on the nearest alien soldier. "I'm almost there," David called, his voice strained. "Just a little longer." Alex kept firing, feeling the heat of the battle. The aliens kept coming, but they were outnumbered. He knew they had to finish this quickly. "Jake, cover me," Alex shouted as he dashed toward the console. "What are you doing?" Jake asked, firing at the approaching aliens. "I'm going to help David," Alex replied. "He needs more time." As he reached David, he could see the strain on his friend's face. "What can I do?" he asked. "Help me input the final commands," David said, his fingers still flying over the console. "We need to set the overload to maximum." Alex quickly began pressing buttons under David's guidance. He felt a surge of determination. "We can do this." The aliens continued to push forward, and Alex could hear Jake shouting for help. The room felt chaotic, but he focused on the task at hand. "Done," David shouted. "Now we just need to activate the overload sequence." Alex glanced back at the entrance, where more aliens were pouring in. "We need to buy some time." "I'll hold them off," Jake yelled, stepping into the line of fire. "No, we all need to go," Alex insisted. "We can't leave anyone behind." Suddenly, the room shook and the lights flickered. David looked at Alex, eyes wide. "We need to activate it now, or we'll lose our chance." "All right," Alex shouted. "On the count of 3, we hit the button. 1, 2, 3. They slammed their hands down on the control panel, activating the overload sequence. The room erupted with flashing lights and loud alarms. "Let's go," Alex yelled, urgency filling his voice. "We have to get out before it blows." Jake joined them, quickly falling back as they made their way toward the exit. The ship shook violently, and the alarms blared louder. "Hurry," Emily urged as they dashed through the corridor. The sound of alien soldiers pursuing them echoed behind. "They're right behind us," Jake shouted, glancing back. As they reached the exit, Alex turned to see the aliens closing in. "We can't stop now." They burst out of the ship, feeling the fresh air hit their faces. The battle outside was still raging, but they had completed their mission. "We did it," David exclaimed, looking back at the ship, which was now glowing ominously. "It's going to blow," Alex shouted, pulling everyone away. "Get to safety." They ran, and the ground shook beneath them. As they reached a safe distance, they turned to watch the alien ship explode in a brilliant flash of light. The force of the explosion sent shockwaves through the air, and Alex felt a mixture of relief and triumph. "We did it," he yelled, raising his arms in victory. The battle was far from over, but they had taken a significant step in reclaiming their home. The furious humanity had shown its strength, and they would continue to fight until every last alien was pushed back. Together, they stood strong, ready to face whatever came next. They had proven their resilience, and they would not back down. The explosion of the alien ship lit up the night sky, a brilliant flash that left a lasting impression on everyone who witnessed it. Alex and his team stood in a safe spot, breathless and filled with a mix of emotions: relief, triumph, and exhaustion. The sound of the blast echoed in their ears, but the adrenaline kept them moving. "Did we really do it?" Emily asked, her voice shaky as she looked at the fiery wreckage. "Yeah, we did," Alex replied, a wide grin spreading across his face. "We took down that ship." Jake slapped him on the back. "You were amazing in there, Alex. I couldn't have asked for a better leader." Alex shrugged, feeling a bit shy of the compliment. "We all did this together. We worked as a team." As they caught their breath, the sounds of battle still raged in the distance. Other human forces were still fighting against the alien invaders. The victory they just achieved was only a small part of a larger war. "What's our next move?" David asked, scanning the area. "We can't just stand here." "We need to regroup with the rest of our team," Alex said, looking towards the chaotic battlefield. "There are still aliens out there, and we have to help push them back." Emily nodded. "Let's find our way back to the command center. They'll need our intel on what just happened." With determination, they made their way through the wreckage of the city, where fires still burned and smoke filled the air. The destruction was overwhelming, but Alex felt a surge of pride as he walked with his friends. They had faced danger and triumphed, and now they needed to help others do the same. As they reached the command center, they found it bustling with activity. Soldiers moved quickly, tending to the wounded and strategizing their next steps. Alex felt a wave of hope wash over him. They had made it, and now they could help. "Alex, over here," a familiar voice called. It was Commander Lisa, her expression serious but relieved to see them. "What happened?" "We heard the explosion. We took down the alien ship," Alex said, trying to catch his breath. "David was able to disable their controls, and we overloaded the core." "Incredible work. We could use that kind of intel right now," Lisa replied, her eyes shining with pride. "We need to know where the remaining alien forces are." David stepped forward. "We can help with that. We have seen their movements and know where they are gathering." "Good," Lisa said, her tone serious. "We need to strike while the iron is hot. The longer we wait, the more organized they will become." The team gathered around a large map, detailing the locations of the remaining alien forces. Alex felt a sense of purpose as they discussed their next moves. "We should hit their stronghold here," Emily suggested, pointing at a spot on the map. "If we take that out, we can disrupt their entire operation." "I agree," Jake added. "But we need to coordinate with other teams. We can't do this alone." As they planned, Alex felt a sense of unity among his team and the other soldiers in the command center. They were all fighting for the same cause, and their determination shone through in every discussion. After several hours of planning, they were ready to move. Alex and his team, along with other soldiers, set out to engage the remaining alien forces. The atmosphere was tense, but there was a sense of excitement in the air. They were about to make a stand against their enemies. As they approached the alien stronghold, Alex felt his heart race. They could see the dark silhouettes of alien ships hovering nearby, and the soldiers on the ground were preparing for battle. "Stick together," Alex shouted to his team as they moved forward, weapons raised. "We've done this before, and we can do it again." The battle began in a flurry of activity. The soldiers charged forward, firing at the aliens who were trying to defend their stronghold. Alex felt the adrenaline surge through him as he fought alongside his friends, each of them working together to push the aliens back. "Keep moving," he yelled, urging everyone to advance. They fought bravely, but the aliens were fierce. For every enemy they took down, it felt like two more appeared. Alex knew they had to find a way to break their defenses. "We need to flank them," David shouted, pointing to the side. Jake nodded. "I'll take the left. Alex, you and Emily take the right." With a plan in place, they moved quickly, catching the aliens off guard. Alex felt a surge of pride as they coordinated their attack, working seamlessly together. The teamwork they had built through their previous battles shone through in this moment. As they pushed deeper into the stronghold, they began to feel a shift in momentum. The aliens, surprised by their coordinated effort, started to falter. "We're breaking through," Emily cheered, her voice ringing with excitement. But just as they felt victory was within reach, a massive alien warship descended from the sky, blocking their path. The ground shook as it landed, and a door on the side opened, revealing a towering alien commander. "No," Alex shouted, his heart sinking. "This is bad. We can't back down now." Jake yelled, raising his weapon. "We have to take them out." The alien commander roared, a sound that sent chills down their spines. But Alex felt a fire ignite within him. They had fought so hard, and they wouldn't let fear stop them now. "We face this together," Alex shouted, rallying his friends. "For humanity." As the alien forces charged, Alex and his team readied themselves for one final fight. They would stand against the odds, fueled by their determination and the fury of humanity. Together, they would show the world what they were made of. This was their moment to shine, and they would not back down.